Good morning, members. Unfortunately, we're having to do the course update in the office this morning after fairly torrential rain over the last 3 days. So we are currently up to about 111 mils across the golf course. And the rain really started on about the Saturday. It's now Monday, the 4th of July. So we've had three pretty consistent days of rainfall, with the biggest falls being recorded on Sunday morning, 70 mils being removed from the rain gauge. So obviously not ideal. It felt like we were really drying out nicely, and the golf course was in a really good spot, and obviously a bit of a setback. It's just not a good time anywhere to have this amount of rain, but especially in the winter when we have minimal growth. So we do damage with our mowing equipment. We do damage when we're out there playing the golf course. As members, it just takes such a long time to recover. Like, we're often looking at a lot of this damage through till September. So we're really careful, and have shut the golf course at this moment just to let the golf course be almost, and weather the storm. Just did a course inspection with Mark Ward, the course superintendent, and we're relatively happy with how it's handled that 111 mils. It is wet underfoot, but certainly no trees down or anything to report of that nature. The drainage out there is working relatively well. We know the problematic areas, and they're flaring their head again, especially the 11th tee shoot. But that is one area that is flagged for drainage installation once we can get the contractor here. Now, they're obviously backed up, but that is a capital expenditure, a project that we'll be looking to do once we can get that contractor here. And it'll be the same contractor that's done a lot of the work in previous years on the fairways. I know most of the membership are fairly familiar with that kind of 2.5 metre drainage spacing. And then we have the big pipe on the side of the fairway to take the water away and into our existing network. So all of that work is flagged into the 10th and the 11th in particular. We've continued to make some good progress with the warm-up nets. We have now got a pathway installed at the rear of those nets and 2 bays completed. Now, there is 4 bays that have been constructed there, or the framework for 4 bays. But unfortunately, we've only got the product to complete 2 bays, and we are just waiting for the supplier to come through with the remaining mesh for the final 2 bays, so we can get the 2 bays open, and members can start using them to warm up before their game. But we are going to have to wait until the arrival of the mesh to get the second 2 bays in action. So we're hoping that'll be in the next kind of 2 to 3 weeks. But we'll keep everyone updated as soon as that product comes to the supplier. They'll send someone out to finish the construction of that net. So looks good. We do have some more work to do on the pathway, which will be granite like we've got on some of our other pathways. We've just used mulch initially. Again, supply is really tricky in this kind of COVID world, where we seem to really have long lead times on getting hold of any kind of materials from some of our suppliers. So at least we have 2 bays good to go, and that's pleasing, and we'll get the other ones as soon as we can. We've done some tree work around the 8th tee, so some of those trees that are non-endemic, camphor laurels, trees like that, we know that tee suffers with shade, so we've taken the opportunity to thin out, get some dappled sunlight in there. So that work has started. There's still some more to do, but already a noticeable improvement just down there this morning alone, just to remove and push back some of that vegetation that was really encroaching and taking away the turf sunlight, or the light the turf needs to kind of thrive. Now, we know that tee isn't big enough for the amount of golf that we're doing, but it'll certainly help improve conditions, especially once we get into spring and we can start giving that a fertiliser and generating a response from all the divoting and all the wear. So that's all flagged. This week for us going forwards will really mean treading carefully, not using any heavy machines out there. So we'll warp mow greens, warp mow setups, and we'll try and look to get golf out there as soon as possible. We'll continue with this vegetation where we have playing corridors and we've got dead wood and areas that just generally need a clean out. So that'll really form what the team does for the rest of this week as we try and weather the storm and be as productive as we can.